Hello.
We're trying to act natural and it's hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to pretend that there's nobody there, because really there isn't, so it's not really pretending too much.
No, so it's pretty much like Zoom. Just pretend like we're on Zoom.
Yeah, a little bit. My name's Phil.
Sarah?
We're on a SLC. Most of you have probably seen us already. If you haven't, what the hell is on a SLC, Sarah?
Well, we had our first show 2 years ago. Phil and I went to coffee one day. We were like, wouldn't it be cool if we could have a show with some poetry and some music and people could get on stage and own their voice, own their creativity, own their weirdness, own something that they've never owned before. We both had been in recovery for a little while, and so I think we were both frustrated with the cliches that you hear all the time, and we wanted something a little bit more creative because we're both artists, and that's a curse kind of, and kind of a cool thing. And so rather than complain about how unoriginal things were, we decided to make something original. And it's something that I had dreamt of doing for years, and I think Phil had similar ambitions before we even met each other, actually.
Yeah. Let me
true?
tell you,
Yeah, I want to know.
I was asked the question maybe 10 years ago, if you could do anything in the world, if you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing? And it didn't take me long, and I thought I'd be in places looking for, listening to bands, listening to people read, listening to comedy, and I would accumulate these people into a performing arts event.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Before
I've told
I
you
knew
this
you?
before.
I forgot.
I've told you this
I mean, I didn't.
before.
I didn't forget. But
No, but
I just
didn't
didn't know that it was like that specific.
It was yeah, it was pretty specific. It was like it was weird. It was like a vision almost in the moment. It was like I'm sitting and there was somebody next to me. I don't know if it was a woman or a man or what. But I knew I had a partner.
Okay.
I knew I had a partner. That was the feel, and we were sitting, and it was kind of like it felt like recruiting a little bit, and that's what I do now, and that's what we do now.
Yeah, it is what we do. So I'll tell you a little bit about who we are. I am a poet and kind of a painter sometimes. I actually went to school for visual art.
Yeah,
I studied.
she's a painter. Check this out. See that painting on the wall? Is it right? Yep. So she painted that.
Yeah, based on that. Well, I painted that with my kids, actually. We all kind of together. So that's, I studied art and education up at the University of Utah. And while I was up there, one of the things that was very clear to me was that art isn't worth shit unless you share it with people. And I didn't want to share it with, like, some of the people who I was in school with because they were kind of snooty and elitist.
Snooty.
And I myself am a high school dropout, and that's a really valuable thing because I know what it feels like to have talents and abilities, but not to fit within the system. Like, so I always really loved writing, and I always really loved school. I went to college for like 16 years before I got my degree because I just like school. But I didn't fit, I wasn't on the track that you go on for success as the normal way is, set before you. So when I was about 16, barely 16, they kicked me out of high school, and I just have been finding my own way ever since then. And so to be a teacher is really important to me because I've had some very good teachers. I've also had a lot of really shitty teachers who didn't inspire me and who didn't encourage any sort of creativity in me. So,
well, what the hell are we doing here?
I I mean, I hope that's what we're doing. I hope we're here to hopefully give you guys a little bit of an opportunity to just creatively express. So you can draw. Mostly we have been writing with Odyssey House, but more and more people have asked if they could draw during the time that we're with them. And so, yeah, if you want to draw, you can draw. We're kind of changing it up a little bit, how we do things with you guys. But I want Phil to tell you a little bit about how he got here. How'd you get here?
I ask myself that question often. And I also ask myself, do I like where I am? And the answer is yes. Sometimes I review all the things in my life and to make sure I'm doing the things that I like to do. And Odyssey House is one of them. And we had a thing. We had a collaborative change in our approach here at Odyssey. And so I had to reevaluate, is it something that I want to be doing? And it's cool. I think this new way that we're doing things is going to be better than the old way of doing things. So that's exciting for you guys. What we used to do is we used to have people listen to a podcast, and then we'd come on and we'd talk a little bit about that, and then we'd have a writing prompt. And that was cool. And people would...
But we also spent a lot of time being like, can you hear me? Are you there? Can you hear me? Because it was Zoom.
Very good.
So now we're just talking to you, and you can just hear us. So
and
that's cool.
The podcast wasn't focused on you guys, Odyssey House. It's a thing we do, and we're going to continue to do. But we've decided collectively not to have that part of the curriculum.
Because we can't.
Should we not call it curriculum?
We can't censor ourselves. That's why.
Yeah.
Because we're too idealistic.
I think it's...
The podcast just becomes... we talk about some stuff that is...
Sometimes it's
triggering to some people sometimes, so...
Or, off-putting, or... I mean, I don't think triggering was the only thing. I think maybe that you guys just didn't like listening to us. That's cool.
But some people did.
Some people did.
Some people didn't.
What we're doing now is, instead of having that discussion during class, you guys just watch this video, and we'll have like a theme or a prompt, and then you can write about it during the week, because we'll probably get it to you Tuesday, Wednesday-ish every week, and you'll be with us Friday, so you'll have a couple of days to work on either a visual art piece, maybe you could write a joke, you could write a story, you could...
Sing an a cappella song?
Yeah, sing an a cappella song. I hope you guys heard that in the background, because Jack just puked on the floor, which is cool.
One of my kids said that.
About the other kid. And anyways, it's 3 to 5 minutes, so keep it within that zone, please, because so that's the first part of what we're going to be doing. So you're going to get the video Tuesday, probably Wednesday, maybe late Tuesday, maybe like early 8 a.m.
We don't really
Doesn't matter.
We don't know.
We make it up as we go sometimes. But anyway, you'll get that video. It'll have, the prompt. And then you just get to create for the next couple of days. And then when we see you on Friday, we'll zoom in like normal. It'll be just like the last class we did with you guys. Except this time, we're not going to say shit. It's all about you guys. Yeah. So if you drew something, you'll just get up and you'll just kind of show it to everybody. If you wrote something, you'll say.
Hold on a second. I have to go clean up some poop. I'm gonna let Phil talk to you, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. So it's basically what we decided was a lot of time with you guys was taken up by technical issues, not having something prepared. So it's kind of like we had to write, and we usually only got like one session, at which we like to get like 2. But anyways, you'll have a couple of days to do it, which is awesome, and it's something new. So it sounds like it's gonna work, but it might not, and we're always down for feedback. In fact, we encourage you to send in pieces too. So Like if you have an additional piece and you want to send it in and put it and have us put it on our podcast, because we're always looking for artists to feature on our podcast, and we love pulling out of Odyssey House to do this. And in fact, we have a couple that we've featured, some audio. We also have visual. We're setting up a visual page right now on our website to feature all drawings and paintings and stuff like that. And so feel free to send them in. In addition, so one of the things we do is live shows, right? Live events. And when we can have them again, we would like to, offer that to you guys as well. So to read a piece live in front of people, that's an option. If you're interested in recording, I have a recording studio in my apartment. And one of my favorite things to do is record hip-hop music. So, and singing and pop, and I'm actually into country lately. Not recording it, but listening to it. I hope that doesn't turn too many people off, because sometimes it does. You say, I like country, and it turns people off. I'm the type of person that likes to listen to a bunch of different stuff to keep my art kind of, moving. Because if I just stay on one thing and one genre, it starts to infuse itself in my music, and that's no good. But anyways, show up with something. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I like imperfect. Sarah likes well, we both like perfect and imperfect, but I'm in the school of freestyle. She's in the school of written, so we've kind of blended our mediums, our practices together, and that's kind of what helps drive the creativity of this, what we're doing. And I was just telling them, I was basically giving them the whole rundown of what they're going to be doing, and I don't know what's left, honestly.
Well, so the goal of this video is explain what Own It is, explain who we are, explain what we're going to be doing with you guys, because we tend to be kind of nebulous sometimes.
I don't know what that word means.
Look it up. Not you, them.
Well, I'm going to have to too, unless you tell us what the hell it is.
Nebula. So a nebula is actually something that's in outer space. It's like a conglomerate of stars and swishy stuff. Nebulous tends to mean misty, confusing, interlaced, what's what kind of...
like hodgepodge.
Yeah, it's like hodgepodge.
All right. Yeah, we can tend to be hodgepodgey, there can be some nebulescence
He makes up
on
words.
our shit sometimes, but
So I think we told you kind of what Own It is. We've had 10 live shows and 39 podcast episodes. And the tagline for Own It is the evolution of truth amplified. The evolution of truth means as we create art, we come to deeper levels of truth. And amplified just means that we bring it to the microphone. So microphone,
check.
Live show on stage, microphone in a podcast, microphone for you guys is just that reading that we talked about doing on Friday. So you guys get to say out loud what you have made. And there's something about saying it out loud. There's something about speaking in your voice that is, it changes the art. It takes it from something that I wrote in private in my notebook, and it bringing it out into my voice, it becomes more significant, and I hear it differently, and other people hear it differently. So that's where the idea of own it comes from. Is like you stand up and you own it, and we've been doing that with people for a while, and we really love it. And I think we've had almost 100 people on stage at our shows, and we just want to keep on doing it. We have plans down the road for doing some cool stuff with the Odyssey House. We would love to have an Own It event there with you guys when we can, where you guys get to have a stage, you get to have a microphone, you get to own something, and we get to be with you in that process of creating, writing, whatever it is that you feel like you want to own. We have really different ways of doing that as far as like a creative voice. Like Phil's a rap artist, and so his it's a different mood, from him than it is for me. I'm more, I don't know. Whenever he talks, how do I talk? No, you got to do the hands.
So she's a little bit country and a little bit of rock and roll.
I don't want to be
That's not true.
country.
So she can be very, fantastic, and I can be very grounded. And so what we found is some sort of nebulous in there, huh?
You learned a new word. Proud of
And
you.
we want to share that shit with you guys. So I hope that you take advantage of this opportunity. And now we got to come up with a prompt for you guys to write about.
Oh, we didn't give him that yet.
No.
Can it be poop?
Yep. Poop.
I just cleaned up a lot of poop.
Yeah, cleaning up the shit in your life.
There you go.
Huh?
Cleaning up the shit in your life.
Yeah, so write about it, draw about it, rap about it. You don't have to go off of that, of course. You can write, you can paint, you can draw about anything that you want.
Yeah, you might have something that's just like really in there in your, like just right here, and it just like wants to come out. Or maybe it's here. I think people hold things in different places. Maybe you got something that's churning around and you just want to get it out. But one of the things we really encourage with Own It is, can you use different words? Usually the stuff that really messes with me, can we swear on this video?
I have already like 5 times.
Oh, good. What I really wanted to say is the stuff that really fucks with me. I have a certain story about it. I have certain words that I always say about it. I use words like always and never, and I don't really tell the truth of the story. I just tell the story that I've always told about it. So that's the challenge that we present to any performer, anybody who's ever in one of our shows, is like, is this really the thing that you want to say? Is this really true? And can you challenge yourself to use different words about it? Can you even throw out some of the words that you most often use? Like maybe you are somebody who talks all the time about being a piece of shit. Maybe that's a term that you use for yourself. Or maybe you call yourself a failure of some sort. Or maybe you're really grandiose and you call yourself like the best hopscotcher that ever was dresser. You probably have the best shoes. I know you guys do.
I got 3rd place in a hopscotch tournament once. So
nice.
of the 2 of us, I am the best hopscotcher
Anyway.
in the world. So.
Yeah, see if you can look at it in a totally different way. That's part of the magic of creativity, is that you come in from a different angle and you learn something about a story that you maybe have always told, or something you've always believed about yourself. So along the lines, like, from that theme, how are you going to clean up the shit? See if you can look at it from a different way. You may even start out by saying something like, you know what, I've always thought that I was going to do da 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 da. This has always been my plan. Maybe I need to look at that in a different way. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably enough. There's no right way to do it. 3 to 5 minutes though, please, because we are gonna go around the room and have everybody share something. So,
Everybody who wants to.
everybody wants to, of course. You know, I have to. You know, I mean, what were you gonna say? Did you have something else?
Well, I was gonna suggest that when you do sit down to write, to set a timer, to set a timer of at least 10 minutes and just keep writing until you're done, because the hardest thing can be starting. You want to, like, I know you all want to be like profound and amazing, but just be mediocre or even shitty and just start writing and see what happens.
Yeah, and then you can work on it, you know, for a day or two if you want.
Yeah.
Or you can just bring us the raw shit, man.
Yeah, because there are different kinds of brains. There's the generative brain that's just like bleh. That's why we tend to be nebulous and, you know, just like let whatever come out. Is because that's how you get the creative stuff out. If you're too rigid and trying to edit as you write, then you won't write anything because you'll just find what's wrong with it before you even write it down. So just let it out and just write it down. And we're not going to tell anybody. You're not going to get in trouble. Just see what happens. It's okay. We look forward to seeing you and hearing whatever you come up with, and we hope that this video is at least interesting. We welcome feedback, so tell your the staff member that's in your group, you know, if there's anything that's unclear or more information that you guys need, just, you know, we would love some feedback because we're just figuring this out as we go, just like you guys.
Yeah, and we try not to script out too much because we want it to be exciting, you know. We want it to be on the cusp of whatever we're thinking at the moment. I think that's part of the fun for us. That's part of the interest.
Speaking of, there's one more thing we gotta tell them about. Do you know what it is?
The Playish event?
Yes, the Playish event.
If any of you want to be in a play, or are a magician, or
Juggler.
a juggler, or a set designer, or a casting director.
Or a
in
barker.
other words,
Do you know what a barker is?
No.
It's like one of those guys at the circus that's like, get your da-da-da right here, everybody.
Yeah, sell stuff like fucking.
If you're a barker.
Anyway, if you can do anything, like, we would like to hear from you because we are trying to create a play and we've never created one before.
That's why it's play-ish.
Play-ish, because it's gonna resemble a play, but it's gonna be the first play I've ever seen that has an actual DJ in the background, and it's gonna be dope, man. Like, so if you want to get involved in any phase of a production of that sort, please, we're extending this invitation out to you guys.
It's not till June, so we have lots of time to find our way through the nebula.
And actually nebulize what's going on.